Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. This is Rassan from Avant, Canadian Immigration Made Easy. And in this video, we're going to compare two immigration programs for workers. The first one is ARRIMA for Quebec, and the second is the Express Entry for the rest of Canada. So we're going to do that by answering the following question. How do they work, who they are designed for? After that, we're going to take a look at the process overview, the cost, the lead times, and the selection criteria to be invited, and eventually decide on how to choose depending on your situation. So let's get started. Both of them are online platforms that are designed to rank candidates based on a score system, and then the best candidate gets invited to move to the next step, which is the processing of their application. It's as simple as that. You enter the system, you get ranked, then if you answer the criteria, you get selected, and eventually you submit your application to receive your visa. Now, who are they for? Both of them are designed for skilled workers. Skilled worker means that you have at least 1 year of experience, full-time and paid, in an occupation that is listed 0A or B in the National Occupational Matrix. And if you want to know more about that, check out our playlist on the Express Entry. We have a specific video on how to find your occupational category. Now, the ARRIMA portal is designed to address applications for the Quebec Regular Skilled Worker Program, and for the Express Entry, that would be everything else, meaning the Federal Skilled Worker Program, the Provincial Nominee Programs, and the Skilled Trade Programs. The Canadian Experience class falls also under the Express Entry, but if you're under the Canadian Experience class, you're probably going to be under the Federal Skilled Worker Program or the Provincial Nominees. Now, if we want to take a look at ARRIMA's process, basically the first step is the expression of interest. Here you have to submit a profile on the ARRIMA portal, you answer all the questions, and you express your interest of immigrating to the province of Quebec. You do it officially by filling the application and registering to the ARRIMA portal. If you meet the selection criteria, then you receive your invitation to submit a CSQ application. CSQ stands for Certificate of Selection of Quebec. That's an official document that tells the government of Canada that Quebec has selected you to move in permanently and settle in Quebec. Once you receive your invitation, you submit then your application for the CSQ. You receive your CSQ, of course, assuming the application is properly filled. Once you receive your CSQ, you have to take the exam. That's the Quebec Values exam. Once you pass the exam, you have to submit your permanent resident visa application. And if you do everything correctly, you eventually receive your PR visa. For the express entry is a little simpler, actually much simpler. The first step is to register to the pool of candidate. Once you register to the pool of candidate, and if you are highly ranked among the other candidates, you receive your invitation to apply. Once you pass the exam, you have to submit your permanent resident visa application, and if you do everything correctly, you eventually receive your PR visa. For the express entry is a little simpler, actually much simpler. The first step is to register to the pool of candidate. Once you register to the pool of candidate, and if you are highly ranked among the other candidates, you receive your invitation to apply. After that, you have to submit your PR application, and you eventually receive your PR visa. Now let's compare the two programs based on money, processing time, and selection criteria. The ARRIMA program costs roughly $3,400 for a single applicant. The express entry is about $1,000 cheaper just because you don't have to go through the CSQ process. The big difference, however, is when it comes to the processing times. If you go through ARRIMA, you have a 6 months processing time just to get the CSQ, and then it's 18 months to get the PR visa. This is huge, and here we're only considering the processing time. We say nothing about the time it will take you once you are in the ARRIMA portal to receive your invitation to submit for the CSQ, and in between, once you submit the CSQ to take the exam and all that. This is not considered. This is just the processing time. In comparison, when we take a look at the express entry, the processing time is 6 months. So you can see the big difference here as well. We didn't consider the time that you will wait in the pool of candidate because that depends on the person and on the score. But just for the processing time, we have 24 months on one side and 6 months on the other. Now, when we come to the selection criteria, ARRIMA has invited 2,457 persons since July 2019, and the express entry has invited 78,350 people only in 2020, despite the coronavirus. Now we're going to take a look at the selection criteria, and you're going to see why ARRIMA is, in my opinion, such a failure. Okay, so here we are in the Ministry of Quebec Immigration, and you have, as you can see, the expression of interest here. And if we scroll down, here we have the criteria for the invitation. So you can see that the Ministère, that's the Ministry of Immigration, will send out the invitation in ARRIMA. The first invitations will be sent out to, and we have number one, person who had submitted an application for Certificate of Selection of Quebec before August 2nd, 2018. So the program has 2 years of lag, and people who submitted before 2018, August 2nd, and who were staying temporarily in Quebec when they submitted their application, in accordance with Section 5, just means that they were staying legally. And the second factor is that they were staying in Quebec when the regulation came into force and who held a study or work permit. That's the first factor. The second factor is persons who hold a validated employment offer in Quebec. So you can see how restrictive this is for the rest of the world. That means that if you want to be invited by ARRIMA, you must have been in Quebec as a student or as a work permit holder, or you must have a validated employment offer in Quebec. The rest of the world is not considered in the ARRIMA portal, and you can see it in the official website. Now, when we take a look at the express entry, that's a whole different story. Here we have the previous rounds of invitation. The last one happened on September 30th, and you can see here the number of invitation issued, 4,200. And what's really important here is we have no program specified. That means that under the express entry in this round of invitation and in the others as well, this one is no program specified. Some have some programs specified. For example, if we go back, you see Canadian experience class. But for most of them, they don't specify any program, and that means that the invitations are sent out to everybody indiscriminately of their programs. Here, if you had the score at this time of 471 points or higher, you would have been invited to submit your PR application and eventually you receive your permanent resident visa. So you can see the number are just higher and it's much more interesting than the ARRIMA portal. So the only reason I would say to choose the ARRIMA portal is to answer yes to one of these two questions. The first one is, do you have a job offer in Quebec? And the second one is, are you currently in Quebec? And even so, I would recommend not to go through ARRIMA because there are other programs in Quebec, for example, the PEQ, Programme de l'Expérience Québécoise, which treats the CSQ within 3 weeks instead of 6 months. And it also makes it faster to stay in Quebec under temporary status. So the conclusion is pretty obvious. If you want to immigrate to Canada, your best bet is not ARRIMA. If you're already in Quebec, you could consider other programs, but the express entry will give you a much higher visibility in your application, lower cost, faster processing time, and overall an easier experience. That's it for me. I hope you found this video useful. If you liked it, don't hesitate to give me a thumbs up, share it with friends if you think they're going to find it useful. If you have any question, you could leave them in the comments below, and I'll talk to you very soon. Have a good one. Stay safe. Bye.